Hi, everyone. My name is Josh Cormlin. I'm the Hillel Israel Community Coordinator. We want to welcome you to Soul Kitchen, our final event in Flavors of Israel, a week-long series of culinary experiences to deepen our understanding of Israel. I'd now like to pass it along to Nomi for a quick introduction on today's event.
Hello, my name is Nomi Rosen, and I am on the board of iLead, a student organization dedicated to fostering open and nuanced dialogue about a variety of topics regarding Israel. To those joining us for the first time today, welcome. We're so happy to have you here. And to those who have joined us in any of our past three events, welcome back to the final part of Flavors of Israel. We began last week with an online screening of In Search of Israeli Cuisine, followed by a student-led discussion. On Wednesday, we spoke with Inon Sadok, co-founder of Shukshuka, a Middle Eastern marketplace in San Francisco. And on Friday, we enjoyed an Israeli Shabbat dinner hosted by Hillel at Michigan. We are about to begin our interactive cooking workshop led by Israeli chef Hedai Offaim, along with Israeli singer Ester Rada. But first, our Israel fellow Or will introduce herself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Or Shemer, and I'm the Israel Fellow at Michigan Hillel. I'm so happy we can all be hosted in Hedai's home. I miss being there and so glad we can all be here together now. Hedai, Esther, thank you for having us. The Zoom floor is yours.
Shalom, everybody,
Shalom.
and thank you, Or and Tilly, for hosting us. And you're all welcomed at our home. You are our most favorite guests, as you leave no dishes, and you don't actually eat. If the food turns out good, it means that I taught you well. If the food is not good, you did something wrong. I am truly delighted and honored and excited to host my friend Ester Rada.
So happy to be here.
One of the greatest Israeli musicians, the person who put the soul in the Israeli music. Welcome. Thank you for coming, and congratulations and good luck.
Thank you, thank you.
We caught you on the last moment, the way it looks.
Yeah, 4 weeks from now.
So cheers, everybody. If you are not drinking already, this is the time for you to drink.
So happy to be here, really.
Yeah.
The last time I was here was super fun and delicious, of course. Everything that a pregnant woman needs.
And I'm gonna cook for you again.
Yay!
And the deal here is that I cook for you, and you sing for me. And you guys are welcomed also if you wanna listen to the music and see us cooking. But we are here regardless, so stay on. And we're gonna make two dishes today. We're gonna make a beautiful, beautiful burekas, which is, many refers to burekas as Israeli. And there is a dish in Israel called burekas. And what makes it Israeli is that we call it burekasim. Now, burekasim is like how Israelis call shrimp. We say shrimpsim. The yud mem, the im at the end, is plural. And S in Latin languages, as well as in English, is plural as well.
So there is double.
Right, it's bureka, burekas, and burekasim.
Yeah.
And it originates from our area, but mainly from the Ottoman Empire. The greatness of the Ottoman bakers was the fact that they were able to take the dough and stretch it and level it really, really thinly, which is what we're going to teach everybody and do today. And then roll something in it and bake it. If it's sweet, you can call it baklava or baklawa. If it's savory, we call it burekas. There are different kinds, different doughs. The phyllo dough is the most famous one, but there's the puff pastry, etc. And we're going to start with a dough that we've prepared in advance. Okay, so I'm going to bring it over. Here it is.
Beautiful.
Thank you. You're beautiful. So before we start, the dough, by the way, is 1 kilogram, which is about 2.2 pounds of flour, and 600 milliliters, 2.5 cups of water, and some salt. That's it. But I've soaked it in some olive oil. You see it? I've soaked it here. You can better see it now. I've soaked it in some olive oil. But
For how long?
it doesn't really matter. This is about, I've made it half an hour before you guys arrived. I'm going to take one of those bowls out and just straight on the cutting board or on the on the counter. Look at what I do. I don't need rolling pan or anything. Can you see better now? That is good. Okay. So I don't need a rolling pan. I start stretching it with my hands just like this. And every once in a while, I can flip it over. And look, already it becomes transparent in some areas. So I go as much as I can like this. And the next stage is this. Now, if holes open, it's fine. Okay, don't worry about it. But what I want to do is I really want to make it as thin as possible. You're going to do the next one, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so this is how I open the dough.
Beautiful.
We're going to let it sit for 1 minute because we're going to make the filling for the burekas first.
Okay.
But meanwhile, I wanted to ask you, we've known each other, but it seems that every time we meet, there's a new facet, a new face that I meet. There's a Hebrew term called panim chadashot, new face.
Yeah.
And it is known that on Erev Shabbat, for example, when you pray, you're looking for panim chadashot, for a new face. But you don't look for somebody you haven't met before, but on the contrary. You look at the people that you love and that you know, and you're looking to see a new
Something
face
new.
in them.
Yeah.
So tell me something new about you. Except
You see it.
Yeah, that's new. But you were born here, right, in Israel?
I was born in Israel, yeah. My parents came from Ethiopia 1 year before I was born.
So you have older siblings that were born in Ethiopia
I have
or on the
one
way?
big brother, 5 years older than me, and he was born there. And so they came here, and after 1 year I was born
And where were you born?
in Kiryat Arba. I saw a sign to Kiryat Arba when I came here.
Right, because Kiryat Arba is kind of close to where we are, but such
Yeah,
a
but
different world, right?
Yeah, it's a settlement.
But when we're talking, I'm going to ask you to do something. Can you talk
And walk at the same time? I don't know. Okay,
let's try. I have so many greens here. I brought Swiss chard and rocket leaves, and I brought mizona, and I brought parsley and spinach, baby spinach. And you're just going to choose different greens and tear it with your hands, okay?
Okay.
How much? Let's say about 2.5 cups full of, okay?
Of everything. Okay.
So yeah, so you were born in Kiryat Arba,
Kiryat Arba.
which is an ultra-religious
Yeah, religious. It's a settlement and
in the West Bank,
in the
near
West Bank,
Hebron.
near Hebron,
right?
very
Yeah.
near. A fence all over the.
You're surrounded by
Surrounded
a fence.
by a fence and soldiers that protect us from the enemy.
So were you consciously understanding that it's so different from where your family is, from what you used to when you grew up to this?
I
It's
grew
enough.
up to this. Only when I think, well, I was so young there. I was there until the age of 10. And
Well,
then,
10 is formative years.
yeah, yeah, totally. But, I knew what I knew. That's what I knew. This is life. Religious.
Surrounded by
Surrounded
fences.
by fences.
Soldiers walking around.
Yeah, and the enemy is very close to us.
You can see the
I
enemy
can see
with
the
your
enemy.
eyes.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And the enemy can be little children playing.
Do you see children that are just like you?
Yeah.
They're
playing with the
Palestinian and they're behind a fence and they are known to be your enemies.
enemy. Yeah. Only when I moved to Netanya
At the age of 10,
at the age of 10, a bigger city near the sea,
you met other populations.
other population. I didn't have a fence. I have the sea, the open sea,
So it's almost the opposite
no
of
borders. Yeah.
amazing. Okay.
Yeah. Only there I discovered that, okay, life can be in a lot of forms and shapes.
So and you gradually grew out of Orthodox being Orthodox religious, right?
Well, when in Netanya, I discovered that I can walk with I don't know, girls can walk with pants and nothing will happen. Boys can walk without their kippas.
And they won't
no
get
lightning
punished.
will, yeah, exactly.
The lightning won't hit them. Amazing. That's enough. That's enough greens. Okay. We have. Can you see our greens? Like let us here. You need to look at the greens, not at me. Here. That's about enough greens. If you have a little more, it's fine. But what we're going to do now is I'm going to crumble. Look at my hands. I'm going to crumble some feta cheese. Okay. So I'm just breaking it into the greens. Now, this is the reason we don't need any seasoning. I mean, you could add some, I don't know, black pepper if you wanted, but you don't really need it because we have the saltiness and the vinegar that comes with the feta cheese, and you have the acidity and the freshness from the greens. And now what I'm going to ask you is to mush it together, okay? You do that. I'm going to wash my hands.
Okay.
So you discover that you actually have less borders, less walls that you've anticipated?
Yeah.
You were used to?
Well, I discovered a lot of things. I discovered that the world can be a lot of things. It depends on how you look at it or where you're looking at it from.
The point of view.
The point of view.
And when you have the sea, there's so many point of views, right?
Yeah.
And the horizon is always there.
Yeah. Not only the sea, also the people. I had a lot of different people.
You met different communities?
Yeah.
I can tell everybody about now that we've met during that time. We only discovered that...
How mushy?
How mushy? Yeah. Break it
like this.
Yeah, what happens is, look at this. Can you see that, Zmora? It's the green colors the feta. You see? So the greens break, and the feta breaks with them, and the feta becomes kind of greeny. It's really nice. I think that's about enough.
All right.
That's all you need. So.
Can I wash my hand now?
Yes, you're allowed to. Meanwhile, when Esther is washing her hands, I'm going to show you guys what I'm doing. Look, I'm picking it up with both my hands, and I'm just laying it like a roll over here. Okay? Just like this. Look how beautiful this is. Beautiful. Now, if you want to add some more, it's fine. Don't worry about it. And the next stage is rolling. Okay? So I'm going to do the first one.
Okay.
You're going to do the next one. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So look at what I'm doing. Just covering it up. I'm keeping it as thin as possible. Look how beautiful it is.
It is.
See?
Wow.
Now I just keep on rolling.
So this is phyllo dough?
So it's phyllo-like because it's fresh, right? But yeah, this is how they make baklava. This is how they make different kinds of burekas. This is how they make jachnun. This is how they make malawach. This is how they make different, the phyllo dough, the ability to stretch open the dough went hand in hand with the fact that they were able, look at how I'm rolling it now. Beautiful. You can see that? Okay, I'm rolling it into this berale, this snail, like this. I'm going to put it aside. Look how beautiful this is. See? I'm going to put it aside. You're going to make the next one, yeah.
Okay.
So the ability to grind the flour so thinly and separate the gluten, the white parts from the whole wheat, went hand in hand with the ability to make it that thin, because when the flour is so coarse, like semolina, you couldn't make a dough like this, right?
Yeah.
Now you need to, pull the edges. Okay. Oh, you can flip it. Beautiful. You've done this before.
Oh, I make jachnun every Friday.
Of course.
Because I love it so much.
Because you love jachnun.
Yeah.
You make yourself?
I make it, yeah.
I don't know if you guys know how hard it is to make jachnun. It's a real labor of love to make a good, proper jachnun. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. I take a kilo of flour, and half of it is for the challah on Friday, and half of it is for the jafnon. The morning.
I must have missed the WhatsApp that you invited me for dinner. Maybe that was the reason I never tasted it.
You're more than invited. You can come whenever.
So, anyways, was the
Is this okay?
okay? It's beautiful. Come
Okay.
as close as you can with the camera. Come as close as you can.
Hedai, we also have a
Look how
question here.
Yes, sure.
Somebody asked if there's a gluten-free version of this.
Yes, it would work without gluten. It would be if you take one of those substitutes, but the dough will be way less thinner. So you won't get exactly the same effect, but you can definitely use gluten-free flour, one of those substitutes.
Excellent.
Okay.
One more question. Somebody
Wait, before you do that,
Okay.
look at what I'm doing now.
show me.
Okay, look at my, can you see my fingers through the dough?
Yes, I can.
This is how transparent it is. Look,
It's beautiful.
it's beautiful. Okay. Keep
I
on
have a
going.
question of what should we preheat the oven for?
The oven should be heated to 250 degrees Celsius, 475 Fahrenheit. So get your ovens ready. If you haven't so far, it's fine. You'll just pop it in a couple of minutes later, but it's all good. And now you're rolling it. So when you moved to Netanya, when you moved from the fences to the open, clean horizon of the sea, did it only change your attitude to the world, or did it also change the attitude of the world towards you? Is meeting secular kids. I remember kids from Russian descent, right? From
all over.
Former Soviet Union. People from, actually, it was a picture of all of Israeli society.
Yeah.
Everybody existed there.
Yeah, exactly. I guess when you change your perspective to the world changes.
Perspective towards you,
Yeah.
right?
Is
Right.
it good?
Is it good? It's beautiful.
Okay, so now this thing.
She's just being humble. She's doing it perfectly. Look, hers is much more beautiful than mine, but that was only because I was demonstrating. I'm going to do it again.
Okay,
Okay, so one more. I'll do one now.
beautiful.
Okay. So, did you feel when you were in Kiryat Arba, I assume that most of the community around you was not of Ethiopian origin? Or
No.
was it? No.
No.
Did you feel different? Did you feel...
No, I think that in Kiryat Arba, what united us all was the
religion?
the Zionism.
Yeah.
And in Netanya, all of a sudden I discovered that there are groups, groups of Russian, like you said, group of Moroccans, group of Yemens.
Communities.
Yeah, communities.
And did you like it?
I liked it because I liked it and didn't like it at the same time. I liked it because I met so many new flavors, new sounds, new
You were
new
curious
colors.
about it. You wanted to...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I didn't like the groups,
The fact that they were secluded.
separated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So each group kind of kept their own, to their own. And then it pushed you towards an Ethiopian group, although you didn't want to be a part of it, or were you able to kind of bridge the gaps?
At first, I was in the Ethiopian group, of course. People put me there, even if I didn't want it.
So you didn't choose to be.
I didn't choose to be there,
But people...
Yeah, but
Yeah.
As the years passed by, I jumped from. I went out.
You were able to, I think, be the bridge or unite between the different groups, right? You didn't leave your group, so-called,
Yeah.
but you did meet other groups, and you were able to connect, and you were able to connect between the groups.
Yeah.
And that happened before the music, no?
It was something that because I felt Israeli, I
Okay.
didn't felt Ethiopian.
Because you were born here.
Yeah, and my language is Hebrew, and everything I know is Israel.
I have a pan here
Okay,
for the
Hedai, so
oven.
excellent that you're telling us about the pen. I have three questions. One is what size of a pen? The other one is, can we use defrosted spinach in this recipe? And the last question is, can we freeze the borek when it's over, when it's done? So first,
So
what's the size
here
of
the
the pan?
question. The size of the pan.
Thanks.
Did you ask about the size of the pan?
No, if she could
Yes.
use.
The first was about the size of the pan. The size of the
Yeah.
pan really depends on how many of the burekas you're making. If your oven is a normal size, 60 centimeters, then it should be a regular pan should be enough for 8 or 10 burekasim. Can you use defrosted spinach? You can, but make sure you squeeze it really tight before you use it to take out all of the fluids, the liquids from it. And can you freeze it? If you want to freeze it, this is the stage to freeze it, not after you bake it. So you can put it in the freezer just like this, let it freeze, then put it in between parchment papers in the freezer in a closed box. And when you want to bake it, just put the oven on 475 Fahrenheit, 250 degrees Celsius, and just bake it for 25 minutes. It will be
No need to defrost it.
no need to defrost it before. No.
Amazing.
Here, so I'm putting my burekas in the pan just like this. This is a smaller pan. It has room for 3, but we can make more because I know you're hungry.
Yes.
And I'm gonna put it in the oven for about 20 to 25 minutes. We're gonna have to cook something else in between,
Okay.
and it's gonna be just great. Notice that I don't put any egg on it. I don't need to put any sesame or anything because of the olive oil. It keeps it great. And of course, the filling is, this time we used feta cheese and greens. You can use peanut butter and jelly. You can use Nutella
Wow.
and nuts. You can use savory. You can use pickled lemons with preserved tuna and harissa and
Whatever you want.
olives. Whatever you want can go in.
Beautiful.
It's the dough that makes it. So I'm pushing it into the oven.
Washing my hands again.
And before we move to the next one, I wanted to ask you maybe to sing me a song first,
Of course.
right? So what would the first song be?
Life happens.
Life happens.
Yeah.
That's what happened to you.
That what happened to everybody.
Life
Life just happened.
Life just happened, right?
Yeah.
Are you guys ready? All
right.
So Rega, at the guitar that you're going to meet is
guitar
played
player.
by Guy
Strier, yes.
Strier, and the guy on the saxophone I know,
Is
right?
Gal Dahan,
Gal Dahan, which is also
my partner.
your partner in life and the father of Pele, your beautiful son, and soon to be
Yeah.
another one,
Born.
a newborn. Yalla, let's go.
Hedai, just remind us how many degrees for the oven?
What?
How many degrees
What did
for
you
the
ask
oven?
for?
How many degrees?
How many
Degrees in the
degrees?
oven?
The oven is 250 degrees Celsius, 475 Fahrenheit, okay? And we're gonna need between 15 and 20 minutes. You're gonna see the color. When the color is beautiful golden brown through and through, that's when it's ready. Don't worry, it will not burn because of the amount of fluids and the amount of olive oil. It will just get browner and deeper in taste. It's gonna be fantastic.
Sometimes it seems like you're just saying 'cause you're afraid that the silence reveals you much more paralyzed by the thought that maybe you got caught packing your lies in a suitcase, running to another fake choice. While you're looking astray, while ignoring the pain, life happens. And while surrendering to fears, and while holding back your tears, life happens. Da-da-da-da-da. You prefer a long walk inside a sad hat instead of a journey via happy eyes. That stone that sits up in your heart keeps rolling over and over again, saying, wake up, son. It's an everlasting game. It's a game. While you're looking astray, while ignoring the pain, life happens. And while surrendering to fears, and while holding back your tears, life happens. Well, while you're closing the doors, don't know what we're waiting for, life happens. And while we covering up, while we acting it tough, life happens. Sweet. No matter how hard you're trying to clean up this mess, there's always a stain down there in your chest. It's been a while since the last time you slept, so they won't get you off guard. It's not painful like it used to be, 'cause habits grow with us. While you're looking astray, while ignoring the pain, life happens. While surrendering to fears, while holding back your tears, life happens. While we closing the doors, I don't know what we're waiting for. Life happens, and while we covering up, while we acting it up, life happens. Sweet.
Amazing. Thank you. Woo.
Wow.
Okay. Wow. I don't know if you could hear everybody's clapping, but I'm guaranteed we all did. Is it okay if we're going to ask a question? We have a few questions from the crowd for Esther.
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to. This is so good. Yeah. Hedai, are you answering for Esther? Come on. Here. Caroline is going to prompt an unmute message on. I think it's Ilana's. Here we go. Jordana is going to ask a question. Here we go. Can you see us?
Hi. I'm wondering how you got into music, and then who is your audience of music? Are they Israeli, international? And yeah, what's your favorite song as well that you sing?
Loaded question.
Music was always in my life. I look there. I don't know. Okay, I just look to.
You can look over there.
Okay. Music was always in my life. I had different stages. Like when I was born, the music that I heard was Ethiopian mostly at home, and outside of home it was.
How did you listen? The music at home, was it played live? Did your parents sing? Or did you have records and CDs?
Records and CDs.
Really?
From
Of Ethiopian music?
Yeah, yeah. A lot of traditional.
So your family wasn't a musical family?
My parents divorced. So my mom, she's not the singer. My father is the singer.
Voilà.
Yeah, but my mom loved music, of course. So it was always around, and of course weddings and etc.
Weddings are a big thing.
Yeah, so a lot of Ethiopian music, and but outside of home, I had different thing, a whole lot of different thing. I had the religious Israeli music from the synagogue.
And the synagogue you went to was not an Ethiopian synagogue?
No.
It was an Ashkenazi?
Yes, very Ashkenazi. I know all the Ashkenazis.
So funny, eh?
Yeah,
so
it's funny.
Do you feel that your culture that you came with, or your family's culture, was taken away from you because the music you listened to was an Ashkenazi synagogue and not an Ethiopian?
It wasn't taken from me because at home I had my Ethiopian heritage, but at the age of 6 I decided not to listen to that music anymore and not to speak that language anymore.
Amharic.
Amharic, yes.
I told
to my mom. I told my mom not to speak to me that language anymore.
So at the age of 6,
I wanted to be like everybody else.
And you decided you want to give up the heritage, the language, and the culture and the traditions that were your ancestors for generations. And you said, I want to assimilate. I don't want anything to do with this.
I want to be like the majority, like everybody else. So that's what I did. And at the age of 10, like I said, we moved to Netanya, and there I discovered the MTV.
I'm not sure some of our audience here, some of our guests even know what MTV is.
No, everybody knows what MTV is.
It's still around?
Yeah,
I don't know. When we were kids, I mean, when I was a kid and you weren't born, and then when you were born and I was a teenage, but MTV brought music to us all, right?
Yeah. So there I discovered all my favorite music until now.
Until today?
Yeah.
Which is what? What did you grow up on? What did you choose to grow up on?
I choose to grow up on soul music.
Soul music from America,
music.
so
From
English.
America, yeah. I think it was because growing up here in Israel, I didn't have a black role model.
Yeah.
And there in the TV, I saw everything I wished for myself. I wished
this is. I mean, I'm moved from you saying this because I think of my children and their friends. Their role model today is black, thanks to you.
I'm so happy.
When you were growing up, there were no black role models.
Not in Israel, no.
And today there are.
Yeah.
And they sing in Hebrew also.
Yeah.
And they sing in Amharic. And they sing in English.
And everything. Yeah.
Okay, so before we continue, if you don't mind, we're going to start our next recipe.
Okay.
And we're going to continue our talk. I just peeled an onion here. I peeled a purple onion, a red onion, but you can use any different kind of onions. And I'm going to take a few of these beautiful Roma tomatoes. You see these? These beautiful tomatoes. Now, our dish that we're going to make is called a summer in the winter salad. And the reason I call it that way is because our time now,
in Israel,
October,
it's a summer in the winter.
It's a summer in the winter, exactly.
That's what we have now.
So we have the last red ripe tomatoes from the summer. We have the first almost not orange enough oranges of the winter, and we're going to combine them both using some onion, using some peppers and olives and everything basically that grows in our orchard here outside. which unfortunately you guys cannot see right now because it's night here, but next time do come
It's
during the day.
beautiful. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we love it here in our farm. But we're going to start with making the vinaigrette, what we're going to
Okay.
pour over our salad. I'm going to take a jar. You can do it in a cup or anything. I'm just using it to shake and stir, but you can really stir it with a spoon in a cup or anything you want. And look at what I do. I take about 1 tablespoon of paprika. I'm using a sweet paprika. If you like it a bit more on the spicy side, you can use sweet paprika and spicy paprika. You can use איך אומרים, מעושן or smoked. You can use smoked paprika. So I have my paprika here. I'm going to add some sea salt. I'm using Mediterranean sea salt. You can use Atlantic sea salt. Just don't use that industrial, not really salt thing that there. And once again, it's about 1 straight teaspoon. The other thing I'm going to add is a little bit of lemon juice. About half a lemon would do, just like this. Just squeezing it in. Don't mind the pits. We're going to strain it anyway, so it's fine. And the last thing I'm going to add is hips and hips of beautiful extra virgin organic olive oil, which is what making our food so delicious throughout the year. So that's about half a cup of extra virgin olive oil. This one is very gentle. It grows really next to our farm here. And I'm just shaking it a bit. See the beautiful, beautiful color it gets? You're going to see in a minute. Here, look at this beautiful color. And the reason I'm preparing it at the beginning is because I want to let it sit and I want to let it sink. Okay, so the oil gets colored with the beautiful paprika color. And now I'm gonna pull this serving plate. Use any kind you want. I'm just using a plain white plate. You, if you don't mind, are gonna cut the tomatoes, and you're gonna cut them into round pieces.
Round.
Okay?
Okay.
Just like this. Not too thick. So that's about 3 or 4 millimeters, about 1/8 of an inch. Okay? That's how we want them.
Okay.
Just rounds like this. Meanwhile,
I love your knife.
you love my knife, I know. My knives are beautiful.
Wow.
I treat them well. And I'm going to do the same with the orange, but I'm going to do it a bit differently. I'm going to take off the peel first. So look at how I do that. I take the bottom and the tops off. I stand it on its bottoms, and then I just peel the white peel off of it, just like this. That's nice. So you were saying that you discovered music through your acquaintance with other communities in Israel.
Yeah.
And the music that you learned to love was not Israeli music.
Was was music, good music, just good music.
Music is
from all
music,
over.
eh?
Yeah.
Really, that's how it is for you, right?
Yeah.
I think, I think, and a lot of people learn to know it about you when they get to know you, is that because of those borders from your childhood, because of those fences and walls surrounding you, you made it a crusade, a mission to break every kind of border, every kind of fence, every kind of wall that there is, and nothing is different for you, right?
Yeah. I try. I do my best. When I decided to make my to record my first album, there was a mission to take everything that I love, everything that I know, and put it inside to mix it together.
Did the first album include Hebrew?
No.
The first album was in English, right?
Was
But
in
your
English.
most recent album,
Is in Hebrew.
I love all of your albums, but I have
Thank
to
you.
say the recent one just blew us away in this house.
Thank you.
The
Yeah, yeah.
children knows it by heart. It's so beautiful. You guys should really look it up. It's fantastic.
Actually, related to the question that you just asked, we had a question in the chat that I would like to highlight one of our students to ask. Is that okay?
Of course.
Excellent. So can we highlight Cora Galprin, please?
Hi.
Before you ask your question, is it okay if I just slice the onion just the same way Esther did with the tomatoes, right? I'm just slicing round pieces, not too thick, quite thin, okay? Go ahead.
Hi. Thank you both so much for doing this with us today. So you talked about growing up in an Israeli settlement and how the perceived enemy were all Palestinians. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about the experience that you had growing up in a Jewish settlement, being told that about Palestinians, and whether or not your thoughts have changed.
A lot. When I was there, I believed that they are the enemy. Well, I believe that what I was told, that what I was taught. And when I grew out of there, and
grew up and grew out.
Yeah. I understand now that whatever I was taught, they were taught. So they're victims, just like
of prejudice and of
they're victims.
Racism, prejudice, everything that you're a victim
of education, of poor education, just like me. I hope it's
curable.
It is curable.
It is curable, for sure.
I can say my life, my music changed my life actually. So life can be changed. The way you see the world can change. The way your beliefs can change.
Thank God. Amen for that. I am going to move a little bit forward with our salad, and then we can go back to your beautiful, it's not a life story, it's a life teaching. I feel that, no, I mean, you know, sometimes you meet somebody, but before I met you, I've known your music. And I've known your music, and it already said something to me. It already had something to tell me, had something to influence me before I knew where you came from. That's what makes music good. It's not a documentary.
Yeah.
It's music, as you said, music is music. It can be English, it can be Hebrew, it can be Amharic. It's all the same.
Gibberish.
It can be gibberish. It's music. If it moves your heart, it moves your heart. I have a green Anaheim pepper here. You can use jalapeno.
It's the summer pepper?
It's the summer. It's a spicy.
The spicy one.
Spicy as hell. I'm just checking on my burekas here. Look at them. They're so beautiful. You want to see them? I'm going to show them. I'm going to show you how they look at this stage. I'm not taking them out yet. Can you see them? Like that. See how beautiful this is?
Wow.
Oh, it's too hot. Sorry. I'm not taking them out yet. I'm letting them brown a little bit more.
Wow.
Just until we finish our salad. So I have those beautiful Anaheim pepper. If you don't like it spicy, you don't have to use them. If you do like it spicy, you can use them. You can use jalapenos. You can use anything you want. I'm just slicing really the tip of the pepper. That's enough. I don't need more than that. And one more thing I'm going to use is I have those beautiful Tassos olives from Morocco. These are actually Israeli, but the way of preserving them is North African.
God's favorite.
God's favorite.
Because he's
I'm
Moroccan.
I'm gonna keep a few for you. But you can also use Kalamata olives or any other black, heavily scented, really deep in flavor. So, and I'm just pitting them. You see, I'm taking, yes, can you do that? I'm just taking the pits out, just like this. And we're almost ready with our beautiful, beautiful salad. You'll see in a minute. Okay, so I'm breaking them in half, and I'm leaving the pits out. So after Netanya, though, and after the first album that you recorded, that was really the miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Sorry, of
Wow. Big shoes.
you filled them greatly. You filled them beautifully. You're better. But they were really your coming out. I feel that throughout the years, you kind of made peace, right, with other parts of Israeli society.
Yeah, it took me a while. After I don't know if I call it a ran away, but like I didn't want to hear any Ethiopian music. I didn't even listen to Israeli music. I listened only to MTV.
Yeah.
I think when in the army, I was at Lakat Tzvait.
That's enough. At Lakat Tzvait is an army choir.
Band,
right?
army choir, yeah.
Army band.
Um,
Wait, before you continue, I'm just showing you how it's good, eh?
Very good.
She's been, you don't notice it because the cameras shift around. She's been eating half of the food here. I'm just saying. I'm going to show you how I'm building this salad, okay? So I'm putting a slice. It's like an Italian caprese when you use tomatoes and mozzarella and basil leaves. But here I'm using oranges, some tomatoes. Now you don't need the order to be in any specific order, okay? But look at this. I'm just putting them around. Now I break some of the onions around as well, okay? And then some more tomatoes, more oranges, then some of the half-pitted tasseless olives, and some of the green pepper. It already looks good, eh?
Amazing.
But that's not the end. So a little bit more, some of that beautiful onion rings, and then some more oranges and tomatoes. They're all going in.
Wow.
We're getting there. We're getting there. She's hungry. Huh?
Yeah, I was hungry.
And almost there. And the last thing we're going to do, beautiful, eh?
Beautiful.
Now you can keep going with this. It really never ends. It's so beautiful. I never know when to finish setting up my salad. When is it ready?
When you want to eat it?
When you're hungry
When
enough.
you're hungry enough.
When you're hungry enough. Okay, so look at what I'm doing now. I'm taking that oil that I've made before, which I closed way too hard for my oily hands. Oh, I opened it. And now I pour it around like this.
Wow.
See how beautiful this is? Don't be shy. Olive oil is all we have in life. You can use as much as you want. But notice that the residue has sinked in the bottom of the jar. You see? Here you see how it sinked here, and I only use the beautiful red. Okay, you want to taste it?
Very much.
You have to sing first.
Okay.
So before you go singing, you're gonna sing. We were debating, right? But you were gonna sing an Ethiopian song.
Yeah. Just a closure.
So you went back all the way, eh?
I went back to and I don't know, open my ears to Ethiopian music.
So
And I fell in love.
what's this song about? Because we don't speak Amharic.
You don't?
No, not from home.
It's okay, but you speak music.
Yeah, I do. It's probably about love.
Yeah, it's about love. It's about Nanu. It's a name of a girl. Nei. It means come to me. Nei.
Yeah.
So-
Nanu, nei.
Yeah. Nanu.
My love, come to me.
My love. Nan. Yeah. Something.
Come to me, my love.
Come to me, Nanu. Everything I need is in your hand. So come, I need it. Something like that.
I can relate to that. And before you go to sing, I'm just going to tell you guys, if you are making, take a look at the burekas in the oven. Make sure it's not burnt. So during this song, sometime, we might need to take it out. I'm going to take mine out now. So when you come back, we're able to taste everything and tell you guys how it all tastes and how wonderful it is. And I hope yours is as well. So, Nanu, Nane.
Nanu.
na 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 nay, na 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 nay, kanchalenguday. Na 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 no nay, na 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 no nay, kanchalenguday. Say. Ya bada kurunca, ya baval basange, ya bada kurunca, ya baval basange. The chanak the bed, when mon your wing, the chanak the bed, when mon your wing, and though the malwada, the quala malward, and though the malwada, the quala malward, and let Chazimanda, Yamatawadadi, and let Chazimanda, Yamatawadadi, make it out of no. So much amarin, make it out of no. So much amarin, is that the smaller dance that a bang at a na 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 nay, na 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 nay, can't you lay good eye? Na 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 nay, na 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 nay, can't you lay good eye? Say. Abad Shamani, and yet of Sari, Abad Shamani, and yet of Sari. Lipon was said, Kuna, Arakudewari. Lipon was the Kana, Arakudewari. I let her rubber, Wagawala Saba. I let her rubber, Wagawala Saba. I'll gown some gaza, she would an anaba. I'll gown some gaza, she would an anaba. Yeah, more dead medanit, but that was that. Yeah, more dead medanit, but that was that. But the coolly, that's a level of my leg. Na 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 na. Can't you let go day? Na 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 na. Can't you let go day? Say.
Thank you. Wow.
Is it ready? Is it ready?
It's ready.
So good.
So beautiful. Look at me.
How you do good?
Yeah, I'm doing well.
Do well.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
Let me bring our
Very
burekas.
ready.
So we have our beautiful, beautiful summer in the winter, winter in the summer. Summer, it really doesn't matter. Salad here. We have those beautiful burekasim. Wow. See, burekasim. We have this beautiful burekas.
What makes it Israeli?
Yeah, and I'm just gonna take one out, put it here, and I'm gonna get us some forks because I know you're very polite when you eat the salad.
Yeah.
And now look at this. Are you on it? Okay, listen to this. This is nice,
Wow.
eh? Look how beautiful this is.
Wow.
Filled with all these greens. And because we didn't cook them before, the greens, we didn't poach them or anything. They're just, they remain green and chewy and beautiful. Here,
Wow.
wanna have a bite?
Is it too hot?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Oh my God.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
You should come again.
I want to come again.
ותיאבון.
Yeah.
איזה יופי.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Oh. Wow.
Now,
So good.
Amazing.
I hope your burekasim are also out of the oven. Because it tastes so good.
So good.
Tilly, how's your burekas?
This is what it looks like. How did I do? More filling.
Beautiful.
Wait, look at the salad.
Yeah, Ala. See, I taught you well.
Ala.
And there we go.
Wow.
Hedai, do we have
that's-
room for one more question?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so
I
we're
don't
gonna
care, I'm
highlight
eating.
Nomi.
I took everything.
Okay, hi.
Hi.
I wanted to ask you, Hedai, how you got into cooking, and sort of what sparked your desire to start doing that. And then also, second part question is what your favorite dish to cook is.
How I got into cooking. I guess I always loved cooking, but when I was growing up, like a good old Jewish boy, my parents said, you can be whatever you want. They didn't just say an accountant or a lawyer or a doctor. You can be whatever you want as long as you're not a cook, a chef, or a barber.
Really?
Because food and appearance are not important. You eat to survive, you get dressed to keep warm, now do something important with your life. So despite the fact that I always wanted to be a chef, I went out and I studied and I've worked in completely different areas, in education, in Jewish education, etc. And I only became a chef, I only started calling myself a chef when I became a farmer. Myself, along with my brother and our partners, am the founder of the Offaim Farm for Sustainable Agriculture. We are the model farm for sustainable agriculture in Israel. We grow organically sustainable goats for milk and chicken for eggs and fruit and vegetables. We have orchards, we have plantations, and we don't only grow our food, but we sell it in our own farm shops and we cook it in our own farm restaurants. And only when I started cooking the food that I myself am growing, only when I did something with value, when I became a farmer, was I able to call myself a chef. And probably my favorite dish will always be the simplest, fresh vegetables straight from the garden, a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of salt, a little bit of honey, and that's enough as long as
Mine
it's
too.
in season.
Mine too.
That's always the best.
So beautiful.
It's
Thank
nice,
you.
eh?
Thank you.
And the burekas with the vegetables, with a salad, it's really a nice combination. Guys, I hope, guys and girls, I hope you had a great cooking afternoon of yourselves, and that you're sitting down for a beautiful meal with us. I hope that next year you will be able to come, have a bite in my restaurant, and then go and see Esther's performance live the way I saw her first, with tens of thousands of people cheering. But until then, I think it's beautiful that you took the effort and joined us today and came and were hosted in this kitchen. And I want to give a special thank to you, Esther. I know it ain't
you.
easy to be
It's easy with this.
It's easy. I make it easier.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming.
Pleasure.
Thank
Thank
you,
you
Hedai.
all,
Thank you,
and Tina,
Esther.
and everybody in Michigan.
Thank you.
Go Blue.
Thank you
Thanks
so-
everybody for coming. You want to say something?
No, thank you so much. Everything was amazing and delicious. Thank you.
Yay.
All right,
you.
everybody. Have a great November. And Hedai and Esther, I hope I'll see you in person very, very soon. Briut.
להתראות.
Bye.
Shalom.
Ciao.
Here.